Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of Flowty Live. It always makes me happy when, because I smile, grinning backstage during the intro and stuff. So that always makes me happy when people have, never seen that before, and they're just yeah, they're pumping me up before I go on stage. Yeah, so
That was awesome.
Yeah. Welcome in, everyone. Another edition of Flowty Live. My name is Ben Kukainis at Flowty. You can follow me on Twitter at WeGoLiveIn5, and I am here with my friend Jack Forlines at JFO __, the ecosystem lead at Flipside Crypto. This is a celebration of Flowty and Flipside this week. So how you doing, Jack?
I'm doing great. Excited to be here. Excited to jump into all things Flowty and Flipside.
Yeah, it's been as we were just talking backstage. It's been a great week so far. Just seeing all of these analysts and dashboards roll in. It helps put a lot of things in perspective. It helps it just helps pinpoint performance. I've just been super impressed. We forwarded you a sheet of what we think analysts could do with the information, and they really have delivered. So I'm happy you're here. Thrilled with how everything is going with Flowty Flipside week, and we're going to get into it. As usual, if you have watched Flowty Live before, let's go over the boring stuff. That the following program and all subsequent postings and publications resulting from it is not to be construed as financial advice. Please use caution and operate within a budget that suits you when transacting on Flowty, including purchasing, offering, renting, and loaning or borrowing. Flowty does not provide financial advice or recommendations. So boring stuff is out of the way. Now we'll have a nice little teaser. If you saw any of the social posts, you should know that we are giving away a Jolly Jokers at the end of this episode, as well as we're going to be going through some Jolly Joker specific dashboards. Doctor Who is in the house. Trevor is in the house. I'm going to start to... I gotta start to add people on this this wheel list that we're gonna do at the end. Yeah, Doctor Who is here for the financial advice. So my financial advice is make your decisions based on what Flipside Crypto analysts and dashboards say. So I'm gonna defer. Yeah, I'm gonna defer to that. So, but yeah, let's get into it. So I have a feeling a good amount of people now know a bit about Flipside Crypto. We've seen you guys do some campaigns now for a few months now, fresh off of the Top Shot campaign. But I guess for some people who aren't too familiar or aren't apprised of what you guys do, if you could explain just a little bit about Flipside Crypto, what it is, the blockchains you support, some initiatives, and then, we'll get into the analysts later. But yeah, if you had, a one sheet or an elevator speech on what Flipside Crypto is, let's hear. We're on the 10th floor and we're going down.
All right. So at Flipside,
test your mic one more time.
Can you hear me?
No.
Let
me make sure it's mine. My headphones seem to be working as well. Chime in the comments if you can or can't hear Jack. Because hopefully it's not just on my end. Oh, I think I just heard you. Okay, you're good.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
It looked all good from my end, so I was like, all right, anyway,
okay.
I'll get into it. So at Flipside, our mission really is to make blockchain data available and easily accessible to the masses. So we're true believers in the crypto ethos of openness and access to everything, and that includes information. So our main shtick is indexing blockchains and surfacing all of the data that comes through them in simple, easy to digest SQL tables, ready for analysis, such that, whether you're a data analyst, an NFT trader, maybe you're an LP investor, a retail investor, pretty much anyone can come and write us a SQL query on our platform to try to understand Flow blockchain data points more closely, or, whatever blockchain you're interested in looking into. We have over 20 blockchains indexed now, with more coming constantly. We also have a new live query tool that essentially allows you to leverage any API out there to pull in data into a Flipside dashboard, which is really, really powerful feature. But anyway, if you're not a data analyst, you can still benefit from our platform by having this free and open access to all of the dashboards that are published on our site. So you can check out anything from the hot trending dashboards. You can filter for a specific blockchain and see data visualizations and dashboards surfacing all the data that you're looking for.
And that's probably one of my favorite things, is that it is free, is public, and it is easily filterable. The first time I logged on to Flipside, I was like, wow, I'm not sure where to start. And then you start to navigate a little bit, and the fact that, you can narrow things down to flow. And I assume most of our viewers are flow centric. And the flow blockchain definitely has a much smaller community than Ethereum or Solana, and I think it's easier to digest the information. So I love that it's public. I think that's awesome. I do always try to filter by like top analysts, see who's doing well. We'll take a look at our good buddy Diamond and his one of his dashboards. And yeah, it's almost like we see influencers gain a following. We see hosts and personalities gaining a following. It's nice to see analysts who are like really digging into the blockchain and not just blowing smoke, who are really digging into the data, sort of gain a following and get rewarded by that. One of the other intro questions was how analysts earn or take initiative. One thing, or pizza, yeah, or Trevor chimes in, or pizza centric if you're Mike. I just brought up the analysts. I like that they can not just build a following, but earn as part of that platform. So yeah, if you could talk a little bit about, I guess, how analysts, how can an analyst sort of break into Flipside Crypto? Maybe someone watching this, or whether live or on demand, maybe they're interested in it, they're not sure where to start, and maybe this is the platform for them. So how can an analyst, I guess, sort of get started on Flipside?
Yeah, for sure. So, first and foremost, I'll say if you're interested in data analysis at all, whether it be Web3 or any type of industry, our platform on Flipside makes it really, really easy to sort of get up to speed with a really powerful, data querying language in SQL. Part and parcel of the whole shtick of surfacing all of this, blockchain data is the community we curate alongside it. And basically, what you were mentioning, Ben, like all of the analysts who come and want to write queries for the blockchains that they might be interested in, because they have this ability to earn rewards for it. So whether it be through our bounty program, writing up questions for the community directly from the partner blockchains themselves, it could be coming from any consortium of interested individuals. Basically, we have the capacity and wherewithal on our platform to host these challenges where the analysts in our Discord and our community can come, claim a spot in a challenge, in a bounty, and write a dashboard or basically a data report with all of their queries, surfacing interesting data around what the bounty might be about. And if your dashboard's pretty good, you can make some money off of it. Some of our top analysts in the ecosystems, and various ecosystems, are earning some good money month in, month out, like pumping out all these dashboards. It's really awesome to see. It's a really, really cool effect of the flywheel that we build with leveraging all this free data.
What is there like a notable chain? And we'll focus on Flow, but is there, I guess, a notable chain that you see the most activity on?
That's a great question. I'd definitely say Ethereum and Solana are probably our two most popular, two most queried chains. Solana in particular is extremely intensive computationally, which means a lot of data comes in every single day. So, we see a lot of analysts digging into that, coming up with unbelievable reports. It's really, really interesting. But again, a powerful network effect of sort of curating these bounties across different chains, across different ecosystems, is that these great Solana analysts might have a lot to offer for the Flow blockchain or Avalanche, maybe even Bitcoin. So it's really cool to see an analyst sort of become a star in a certain ecosystem on a certain blockchain, and then start to stretch across ecosystems a little bit and start exploring different areas.
Yeah, I love it when that happens. And the fact that they're all displayed together, you might have someone navigating or looking at dashboards on Solana or Ethereum, just how easy it is for them to switch over and just say, let's see what's going on in the Flow ecosystem. Let's see if there's anything interesting there. I feel like so many times all these chains are just viewed super segmented from each other. So with something like Flipside Crypto, just making it easier to go from one to another. Ideally, that brings more eyeballs to Flow, to Flow blockchain, and part of that is certainly, having to do with the analysts and the various campaigns that you guys are putting forth. How about, and this is, I guess, partially opinion. This question is going to be partial opinion and then partially data driven, and that's what your thoughts are on the Flow blockchain in general. And I'm not really asking about building. In other shows we ask people, why build on Flow. We talk to people from the Flow blockchain, et cetera, but I guess maybe from a data standpoint, how does it measure up, or your thoughts on it compared to some of the others?
Certainly, Flow can be encapsulated really easily in two different ways. A lot of users and user activity, but significantly lower volume than you'll see on Solana or Ethereum.
Right.
Obviously, that is primarily a result of the type of product that's sold on Flow. It's more of like a collectible, obviously. Whereas on Ethereum, you'll see you can have one Bored Ape 100 ETH sale, and then that's the volume for the week.
Right.
So I think when I think about this and like in the different blockchains that I pursue, I think that is an enormous amount of opportunity, because Flow obviously is angling to be the blockchain for the masses, super user friendly, onboard really easily. One thing about Flow that I always think about is just like, a hardcore Web3 addict is pretty much every single project on Flow is an onboard, because you have the ability to just pay with your credit card straight through a Dapper wallet.
Can't be understated, that fact.
It's an enormously powerful effect. If you wanted to go buy an NFT on OpenSea on Ethereum, there's many steps to take with your money, which people might not typically feel comfortable doing. So it's a far simpler onboarding process. I think Flow's really nailing that consumer retail angle, and it's fascinating. I think the data suggests that Flow's got a lot of room to grow. There's a lot of interesting things happening.
Want to give a shout out, Rebel Reseller, one of our loyal viewers popping in, Desired, JJ. Again, thanks everyone for jumping in. It really is the onboarding for the masses. I got tired of MoonPay and Transact and all of that. I still dip into Ethereum and whatnot, but I think the convenience factor will slowly make more and more of a difference. Tweaker is in the house. Hello, thank you for tuning in. So that really that's encouraging, especially from data analysts and from the data side. That is encouraging to hear. And one thing that's unique to Flow, that's powered by Flipside Crypto, is Flow Scored, which I know Trevor asked, but do you pay for mooning? I give that out for free. I'm not sure about some of the others. That remains to be seen. But Flow Score by Flipside, if you can go a little bit into it, people have seen that more and more. It's been a great way, I guess, to gauge activity. But I want to dig a little bit deeper into Flow Score and how it sort of came to be, reasons for its inception. From your point of view, how users can really maximize their use of it and their use of Flow blockchain, and how it plays, I guess, into Flipside's larger initiative, or if it's seen as a stepping stone to something else, or if it's going to be continually built out.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess it's sort of tangential to what we were discussing before about Flipside's typical bread and butter. One of the ways we enable all of the data and accessibility for anyone is by partnering with the blockchains themselves. And first, obviously, servicing their data. And then we'll host all these bounties and challenges. And this creates these network effects that allow us to experiment with things like user acquisition and retention on behalf of the partner client. We can design and orchestrate challenges and campaigns, and quests is what we call them for Flow Score. aimed to sort of better understand blockchain users and their behavior, and ultimately, feed that information back to the partner so that they know where to focus in order to drive growth for the wider ecosystem. So, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you mentioned user behavior, and I think that that's something that I have tried to latch onto more and more, in that even though the Web3 space can be very data driven and can be put into X's and O's and ones and zeros, sometimes just sometimes just trying to get that basic understanding of human tendencies and human behavior is something that really supplements, whether it be traditional marketing or, data driven marketing, things like that.
Yeah, certainly. And that ultimately, sort of was how FlowScore came to be. We were building all of these campaigns, trying to test what makes users excited, what drives activity, and what doesn't. And ultimately, we sort of recognized an issue, which was, user authentication, which is a classic issue across blockchains. Not really yet to be solved, but we figured out a pretty great way to mitigate a lot of it. And that was through, FlowScore as an application rather than traditional marketing campaign of sorts. So the way FlowScore works is you come and connect your wallet, you sign a transaction right away, you're authenticated on the blockchain, and now we know you're a real user. Whereas, on a lot of blockchains, you'll see a ton of artificial and inflated activity from bots spamming transactions. So that's become really, really powerful for us.
I'm trying to hang on. Let me bring this up just to sort of give a visualization. If you haven't seen what FlowScored is, let me just share this real quickly, and then we'll get back into a few items. But yeah, so when we're talking about FlowScored, we want to pay attention a lot to items like this. Have you done this? Have you done this? And you mentioned user authentication. We always, whenever we're designing campaigns, I think we ask ourselves, the most questions we ask ourselves is, okay, how can someone game the system? How can someone, I guess, circumvent any of the outlines? Are there any loopholes here and there? And I think that's what's something great about FlowScored, is that it does try to eliminate, and I feel like maybe it just provides more legitimate data. I don't know if that's the right word, to say legitimate data, but more accurate, and more substantial data. And major question here coming up from Trevor: when Flowty scored? That's what all the buzz is about. That's what everyone's talking about. When Flowty scored. Yeah. But going back to some of my other questions, is FlowScored the way it currently is? Are there plans to, I guess, build it out more? Anything, whether it be near term or long term?
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. So FlowScored again sort of came to be in the first place because we were building a lot of the scoring tools on other blockchains previously, just for research purposes. And they ended up just getting a ton of user activity, a ton of traction that were super popular. And while we were thinking about how can we campaign on behalf of Flow, the blockchain, and help it grow, we recognized, oh wow, there's a pretty simple marriage of three different product streams here. So like you said, like you mentioned, we've already been talking about that user authentication piece is so huge. Being able to get a score for your blockchain activity, you're not able to fake that. It's on chain.
Exactly.
So we have a lot of great plans for it. We're definitely looking to double down and expand our offerings. Right now, if you checked out FlowScore before, participated in one of our past campaigns, it's still sort of primitive. We've got a couple different promotional opportunities, a couple different rewards that will be available at any given time, but we're looking to expand that for sure. We want more projects onboarded to FlowScored. We want to grow more of the ecosystem, get more people dialed into Flow in general. So to the extent that FlowScored can help with that, we're going to pursue it for sure.
I think it validates users as well, or some type of self-validation, because it's not you can't see, if you think of, I guess, physical collectibles. That's easy to showcase. They're physically there. Something like Flow Scored certainly I think could give some validation. Maybe some bragging rights, et cetera. What's your flow score, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, just some validation that someone who is active in the ecosystem and someone who is staying on top of all the updates, various features, et cetera, is getting, even if they don't get a reward, I feel like it maybe helps them be seen more so than without it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's a really interesting psychological study that we've noticed in
there you go. We're going back to the user behavior. Yeah,
exactly. Users, they see their score, they want to increase their score, they end up going to do more activities. It's it's pretty natural, and it's really, really interesting to watch it live.
It's funny, we saw so often we talk about Web3 is the future and all of these advancements, but so many times it just goes back to that traditional human behavior and that traditional human desire. The only difference is we're all just sitting behind as many screens as possible. That's really the only difference. And so we're not just Rebel Reseller says it's fun regardless of the reward. I'm absolutely with you on that. But we'll still acknowledge the little pat. It's nice to have a pat on the back every once in a while. I guess, in keeping with the flow score a bit, and we've been talking about users. So, the Rebel Reseller, it's like fantasy football shit talk. It just makes it more fun. So next is you just got to come up with your flow score name, and you can make it, fun puns and all that kind of stuff. On that note, just quick plug: if fantasy football, go rewatch our other show that we just had last week. With Patrick Mahomet from NFL All Day. Matthew is in the house. Thank you very much for tuning in. So we've on this topic of users, before we get back into the analysts, we know Flipside is great for projects to make use of it, whether it be marketplaces, NFT collections, this, as we've discussed, this weekly campaign is fantastic so far. In your opinion, how can users, I guess, capitalize on it from maybe a navigation standpoint, from like a purchasing standpoint? Like, why should a user, let's say an everyday Top Shot, maybe Flovatar, Flunks, et cetera, Jolly Jokers user, like, why should they come to Flipside? Purely as a user, purely as a browser, not as a prospective analyst. Like, how does that help them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, in a lot of the hypotheticals you're suggesting, like, people are probably approaching some of these NFT projects as investments, or maybe they're collectibles, or maybe, they're just a collector. Whatever reason they're, observing their NFTs, doesn't really matter. The point is that they care about them.
Right.
I think, for the typical user that doesn't really care about blockchain analytics or becoming a blockchain analyst, there's still a lot of power left for you on Flipside. You come to our platform, you query for flow, and let's Jolly Jokers, for example, which I know we're going to get into in a little while. You want to get some stats on how the mint went, maybe how much weekly volume there is. Get sort of a comparison of that versus how other NFT projects on Flow might be doing to see if, how your money
could be. Is there a trend I want to? Yeah, is there a trend exactly. I want to hop on, something like that? Yeah. And without the, I'm just going to go back to it's how easy it is to navigate. So many times you see these, I don't know, you see these coin traders making their waterfall charts and stuff, and it's just intimidating. And you're like, no, I'm really not trying to get too much into it. This is just this is relatable, it's digestible, and yeah, maybe you could hop on a trend. I will say this though before we continue: if you're watching this and if you have a question for Jack, or if you have a question about Flipside, maybe that we're not answering, definitely throw it in the comments. We'll flash it on the screen. We'll do our best. We'll do our best to answer it. Yeah. What's been the response? So, I mean, we've got into this a little bit, but we'll reiterate. What's been the response been like so far from the Flow community?
It's been awesome. But generally somewhat muted. So, why is that? I think because what we offer on Flow isn't really offered by anyone else. For Ethereum or Solana, we have a lot of competitors. You can go on Dune Analytics, you can go on Footprint Analytics. nobody really is focusing on flow as much as we are, which is great. That gives us a lot of opportunity, but it also, brings about its challenges because users on flow might not necessarily recognize the power of a good Dune dashboard or a good Flipside dashboard, the information that can be gleaned from that. So, from definitely the more technical users, the developer side of the Flow community, been really, really excited about some of the things we've been offering and the data we've been surfacing. And in many, many cases, they're using our API to plug our data right back into their product. But for the masses, and we've talked about this a bunch, but we really do try to cater the platform to be super user friendly, to help you find the information that you care about. It's not for like the hardcore crypto day trader who's putting candles on their charts. It's for the everyday collector and investor, and to give you a more holistic view on blockchain activity.
And that's how we pull NFTs and crypto back into the positive light, is with user friendliness. We did have a question. Dap Insider asked, and I mean, I'm sure this is arbitrary, best flow dashboard to start with. He digged the Loppy one, so we're just slop them up on that. Shout out to Alexo and everything. Yeah, I mean, is there, again, this could be purely opinion, but is there anything you point to, like a newcomer that might want to start exploring, especially when it comes to flow? And I know I'm sort of putting you on the spot. I'm not asking what your favorite dashboard is, what your best dashboard is, but maybe what someone should be on the lookout for who's just getting into Flipside.
That's okay. I'm always prepared with my favorite dashboard.
I know you are one of the most prepared people that I work with.
I appreciate that. But the answer to my favorite dashboard question, it's always changing. So we put out a really cool feature a couple months ago called the Top 8. So if you go to our platform and if you go to the Discover tab, which is how you are going to go look at all of our dashboards on any blockchain, you have the ability to look at the trending dashboards, new dashboards. You also have the Top 8 option, which are at any given time the top 8 most liked dashboards on a particular blockchain. It's right there in the middle of the screen. Yep. You can toggle that. And this is constantly changing, constantly being updated with whatever is going on. It looks like we might actually be having a little bit of a front end bug with it right now. So I'll send a note internally.
Isn't that always happens, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But regardless, you go back to the main dashboard page, you query for flow, on the right side filter spot. You can query for the hottest. You'll still get those top 8 dashboards.
Right.
Analysts.
And let's, by the way, let's also point out the sheer volume. 107,500 dashboards. Almost 50,000 analysts. So Trevor says like MySpace top 8. That's bringing it back. Yeah. A cool part about the top 8, obviously a little bit of a plug here, but if you are really interested in getting into flow blockchain data, you get paid when your dashboard is in the top 8. You get rewards weekly for every hour your dashboard is in that top 8 category, which is, I think, a really, really cool community feature. Obviously, if you're participating in bounties through Flipside or through our DAO partner Metrics DAO, you can get rewarded just for building the dashboards. But if you build a really great dashboard and it's in the top, people are just
you can earn even more rewards.
How do you measure popular? I mean, is it measured off of traditional web analytics? I see people can favorite and but are there other dimensions in terms of how analysts are given credit if it's gaining in popularity?
That's a great question. I'm not 100% sure that it includes Twitter impressions, but I'm almost positive that it is a combination of the likes you get on our actual platform. Look at all the dashboards is a little up, in the top right, you can heart and like the dashboard. It's a combination of that and Twitter impressions.
Gotcha.
So we're pulling, from the Twitter API, trying to check out, what dashboards are going more viral than others, and they'll get a boost in the top 8 algorithm as a result.
Well, I mean, hopefully we can give a boost to everyone who's designing dashboards for Flowty. There's still time. If you are a prospective analyst out there, there is still time. The prize pool, I'm hoping, is this the biggest prize pool so far from a Flow campaign so far? I'm not sure. We have at $1,000 for the top 3. I'm not sure if that's near the top or something, but Yeah, $1,000 total to the top 3 dashboards. 700 goes to first, 200 to second, and 100 to third. So if you are a prospective analyst out there, yeah, get into it. There definitely is still time for that. So actually, I don't know why I stopped sharing my screen. Let's get back into Flipside and take a look at. Let's take a look at some of these dashboards. As Trevor reminds us, it's time to go in and like the show and subscribe. Absolutely. So we'll get into them. Again, this is Flowty week at Flipside. So analysts were given the task, if they wanted to participate, of creating these dashboards based on Flowty information, whether it be sales, loans, collections, certain things like that. So we're just gonna browse through some of them. Someone mentioned Diamond before. Oh yeah. Rebel Reseller mentioned diamonds. So we'll take a look. We'll take a look at his. This is Jolly Joker's specific, so we'll look at this and then get a bit more into some of the flow items. But here's what something might look like on a well-designed dashboard. It can be as simple. This is actually a great example because it shows how simple it can be. Maybe you don't have to go in there and create 10, 15 different flow charts, pie charts, segmented line charts, etc. Sometimes all we want to do is all we want to see is trends. All we want to see is just some simple data that helps us understand the ecosystem more. It helps us understand the projects more. So a bit of information here on Jolly Jokers. They're approaching 1,500 trades total. Jolly Joker's holder information. I always love looking at the number of holders. Boston-based BB, you are in the house. Good to see you. I gotta add you. I didn't mean to showcase this. I'm gonna let's pull that out real quick. Boston-based, what's going on? Diamond put together a great one. I do want to get into some more Flowty specific ones, and we can talk here. This is a good one I really like from OX Ham. They're Jolly Jokers. So everything from mint to sales volume. Trevor, 1,500 trades for a 5,000 mint size collection. We see them. They're popping off all the time on FloatyBot. If you don't follow FloatyBot on Twitter, go follow it and just keep up with all the sales. Look at this. Like, if we're talking about a bull market here, September 1st, all right, so average price, but it's really not. We're not seeing that catastrophic collapse that we might see with some other collections as well. I always love seeing charts like this that talks about number of holders. I think this speaks volumes to a collection, and that there's such a great distribution here when it comes to Jolly Jokers. Over 1,000 own, whether it be 1 to 5, but you still have a large chunk of those who hold, what is this? Over 15 Jolly Jokers. Yeah, Raven, giveaway in common. That's right. Be patient. Be patient. I'm making you watch the whole thing. I'm making you listen to me talk this whole time. But then I'm trying to think. Let's go over to where was Adria's dashboard. So if I scroll through this, I'm trying to think from your perspective, is there anything that stands out to you as we go through these? Because you have obviously been privy to more of 10 times more of these than I have, just because of what you do. So I'm trying to think, is there anything that stands out to you as we sort of scroll through Adria's dashboard for Jolly Jokers here?
Sure thing. Well, so right away, 2 things that I wanted to bring up. One of the really powerful features of Flipside is the ability to validate data across different dashboards. So, we have a lot of really, really high quality data analysts who are, getting lots and lots of stars on all their dashboards. They're probably writing accurate queries. However, you never know. They might make a mistake here or there. Mm-hmm. It's all open source. It's all out there in the open. Anyone can, you could just click Adria's Jolly Joker mint query right there, or any of these queries. And it'll take you right to the query that Adria wrote. If you have a Flipside account, you could fork it right away and tweak the query however you want. You could build your own charts. It's really, really, really easy to get started.
Can we do really, really easy to get started, because this still looks like Japanese to me. Just so we're gonna put easy in quotations.
Easy
there.
to get started.
Yes.
Of course. But no, it is sort of like a powerful, and again, speaking to the network effects of our product, like
sure,
analysts can build off of each other. Someone writes a great query, someone takes it to an even greater place. The information is always getting more and more accurate just because there are more and more people interested in the data over time.
Right.
So, and just going through this dashboard, looking at mints, I think obviously you have a ton of really interesting mint activity. You have a couple different spikes across mints.
Yeah.
There are a couple different events where Jolly Jokers were given out. I know the Jolly Jokers had an initial early distribution thing, but had I not, I could look at this chart and probably assume that there was. You can glean a lot of information from just like glancing at these dashboards, especially if you look at them all the time. It becomes
for sure
reading the morning newspaper, looking at a dashboard like
well, I get a lot of enjoyment looking at these because there is you can see a spike and try and pinpoint, okay, what happened around that. But there is such a high level of unpredictability that keeps you on your toes. I'm coming from over 10 years in the fantasy and betting space. And like when we would look at analytics, whether it be traffic or sales, Google Analytics, keywords, and all this, it's like the most predictable wave pattern, like year after year. So looking at a lot of these and just seeing just seeing how sometimes unpredictable it can be, I feel like it forces you to pay more attention. Adria did a great job with these. Okay, so if we go down to secondary sales, which again you can get them on Flowty, just head to the collections page. Jolly Jokers is front and center there. Just a lot of various ways of distributions. It's always fun to see that even in 2023, we have a spike in new buyers. Like that's something I feel like that you don't often see, but not necessarily at the expense of older buyers and things like that. So just an example here of some great items that you can find, and if you're an analyst, create on Flipside. We looked at diamonds. I did want to bring up this. So this is a dashboard that I'm going to get a lot of great use out of. And real quick before I start this, I just want to reiterate your point when you're talking about the validity and accuracy of information. Because myself and others across the blockchain, we want to use this to market. We want to use this as tools to, I guess, grow. And the last thing we want to do is sort of worry about the accuracy or validity of the data. So just the idea that people continue to build one off another and continue or increase that accuracy it's very reassuring in this space. And, I think often we sometimes just need reassurances in this space. But yeah, some great items here on Flowty loans as we slowly approach. We are almost there. I don't know, MBL, Mike, you're watching. So when we reach $1 million, I assume we're getting flown out to Vegas or something like that. I mean, that's or we were just on having a chat with someone else. Colombia is apparently like a huge NFT capital down in South America. So for the good of the company, we might have to, just take a trip down there. But yeah, it's cool to see, as we approach $1 million in volume of loans. I always love these kind of charts. I think, obviously we're going to see a lot of Top Shot. Like that's just what it is. Trevor wants to go to Portland, or Trevor wants us to come to Portland. Vegas might have a few things to offer that Portland doesn't. Although the wife and I just had a conversation. We want to get over to the West Coast, the Pacific Northwest. So we're going to see a lot of Top Shot. We're going to see a lot of all day. Like that is what it is. But it's cool sometimes to see when other collections creep into that. Like when we have, when we have down here, when we have Flovatar seeing a spike, if we move down here, difference between NFL All Day and Top Shot. So, looking at this here, when it comes to, again, we're talking about floaty loans. He's okay with Vegas. Put him in a floaty seat. We'll make it happen. Top Shot just sort of really commanded a lot of loans. Obviously, we're not looking at nearly the size of loans as, when we first launched, there was still a time people were taking out $15,000 loans on, LBJ Cosmic, stuff like that. So we're not going to see that anymore. We'll, probably never see that again. But that's okay, because if you focus more so, I think, on the volume and the activity rather than the price point, that gives just a much better indication of the public learning about it. I know myself, when I first heard about NFT backed loans, I was like, listen, I'm already terrible with money. I am not a finance person, et cetera, et cetera. And then slowly, got used to it. So looking at this now, anything stand out to you? Looking at some of these, I'll scroll a little bit, and we see what else is down here.
Absolutely. So, loans is such an interesting type of marketplace to analyze for blockchains. Obviously, it's another primitive. It's a new use case for blockchains and a new way for you to leverage and gain additional utility out of the NFTs that you have ownership over. Yeah. So, and obviously on Flow, the big ticket items are Top Shot, and then you'll have some all days too, and some other dapper-backed sports projects that are probably could put up a big loan, a rental fee, but ultimately, to me, when I look at this, is this is just an ecosystem with a really mature tech stack that's just still early to the masses. There are so many use cases and examples where individuals would want to get a good, fair global rate on a commodity that they own through a digital platform, and not have to go through a broker or some intermediary. You can use a smart contract.
You don't have to provide pay stubs, for the last 2 weeks and your 1099s and all of that.
Yeah, exactly. So I see loan marketplaces are always intriguing to me, because I just think it's one of the more obvious use cases for NFTs in particular. So what jumps out to me about the data, it's young, it's nascent. Yeah. We're early still. I do think we'll see days where you have $15,000-$20,000 loans on a LeBron Cosmic again, like those.
I hope so. Yeah. Maybe, I guess maybe I'm being a more of a glass half empty or something like that, but I hope so.
Well, listen, I've been in crypto now for like 8 years. I think I've seen a lot of really crazy stuff happen.
Hey, Flow could very well be right now where Ethereum was in 2017, 2018.
So. No doubt about it. Flow is interesting to analyze from all sorts of different, business and corporate angles as well. But ultimately, the bottom line, in my opinion, as an analyst looking at this all the time, is it's the blockchain for the masses, and the masses haven't woken up yet to it.
Right. And so, we're here for the long run. Yeah, all of us, we're here for the long run. E-Man Raz, thanks for tuning in. Hey, Flotion, I kind of like that combining between Flow and Martian. Flotion, I kind of like that. I don't want to go too much over time. Let's give a quick reminder and let's do our giveaway. And then I'm sure everyone's just going to log off, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, let's just do our giveaway, and then, a couple closing remarks, because we did have a giant Flipside on Flowty page in our most recent newsletter. I've been trying to keep track of people who have been popping in. I think I'm missing 5 or 6 names. If you haven't commented in the chat, give me a wave or something, just so I can add your name to it. Trevor, you're disqualified. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So crypto. Yeah, Sorry, man. That's actually I really like this jelly. I'm a sucker for like the traditional Joker look, like with the puffy arms and stuff like that. So here, hang on. Let me share this, and then we'll give it for those people who are still logged on. All right, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. ADII. Mike G got you already. Raven, you're good. T Fire got you. Let me share this. Let's share the wheel, and then we'll give it a whirl. Anyone else not see want to know how I got these scars? Yeah. Anyone else not see their name on this wheel? If those still tuned in, I know we had some people come and go, but want to make sure the winner is tuning in. Okay, let's give it a spin. So he was running Jolly Joker. I think it's 6203, something like that. I lengthened it to it should have been. I feel like it should have been a little bit longer. Oh my God, Matthew, excellent. I didn't know if it was going to make it to you, so let me take a screenshot to that. You know how to contact me, Matthew. Just hit me up. I'll send this over. Sajadi says his mega dashboard will be ready tomorrow. Okay, you have set the bar high. When you say mega dashboard, I want it to be something I'm going to look at on like a tri-screen here. So we'll definitely be on the lookout for that. We've done our best. We've tried to just respond to everyone who's released a dashboard so far, just on Twitter, just as like a moment of acknowledgement. We're posting them in a long thread, so definitely be sure to check that out. Before we go, just super quick closing remark. I mentioned that we had a nice Flowty Flipside page in this latest edition of the Flowty Newsletter, and part of that is, again, nice little Flowty week at Flipside Crypto. If you want a chance to win a $50 shopping spree and a Flowty hat, go check out the comments. There are instructions on how you can do that. Go check out our Twitter. There are instructions how to do that at Flowty_IO. Also, if you're tuning in and you want to claim a float, there is a link in the YouTube description for that as well. And the code for the float is Flipside913. So again, after you subscribe to Flowty and like this video and share it with all your friends and say how handsome these two dudes are on screen, go claim your float and enter code Flipside913 to claim that. So newsletter is live. Float is up there waiting to be claimed for the first 100 people that do that. And other than that, I think that's it. Do you have any closing comments, Jack?
No, just, reach out to me if you guys have any questions, want to talk flow data or anything. We're always working on new analysis. All the analysts, I think some of them are here, so always working on it, analysis. So we've got a lot of data to share, and I'm more than happy to help share it. So, hit me up. But Ben, thank you so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. No, this is fun. I love just hopping on and talking this kind of stuff. Again, thanks everyone else for tuning in. Be on the lookout for that mega dashboard tomorrow. And then I would say, I think we have a few things planned. I don't know if we'll call that some alpha while they're getting hashed out behind the scenes. So we certainly have a few things planned. You will want to stay glued to Flowty, stay glued to Flipside. There's just a lot more to come. And just really excited to get things started. So Jack, thanks so much for hopping on. Everyone else, thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you next time on Flowty Live.